also the poor air quality that's going on right now too, which is just really crazy. And hopefully you guys are all surviving the whatever kind of parasite it has been going on when it comes to, or going around when it comes to like the fruits and vegetables and all of that. Like, so I have not heard anybody personally that I know has gotten that, but hopefully you guys are all staying safe there. So wanted to come on here and talk about some thoughts and just kind of come on here and just give you guys some raw insight of what's going on in my fitness journey and some hard lessons I'm learning or lessons I'm being reminded of that are super important too within all of this. Just spent like hours on my computer updating some things for our clients that it's just going to really overall improve their experience and being able to measure progress, which I'm super excited about, but a lot of just work on my laptop, and I just need to come on here and just talk. So here's the big news within my journey. So I think I maybe mentioned this in the last live I did, maybe not, but about 2 weeks ago, now we're going on like I think 15 days, I found out I have an inguinal hernia, which is a hernia in your like groin area. And it was kind of weird because I just randomly noticed it one day. Like it wasn't like there was this like weird pop or something I felt in the moment when I was lifting where I'm like, oh geez, I hurt myself, I did something. It was actually after an upper body workout. I just got in the shower and looked down, and if you're unfamiliar with what an inguinal hernia is, and I'm not going to talk about this in like scientific terms, so I might not be scientifically correct with everything I say, but it's essentially when there is this tissue inside of your either abdomen or kind of your groin area where it separates. Basically, you have, I don't know how many layers. I think you have 4 layers. You have your skin, your fat, you have this tissue, this fascia, I think it's called, and then you have another layer of fat, and then you have like your bowels and your intestines and everything. And that fascia, I believe that's what it's called, that layer of tissue basically has either it's like a tear in it or a small hole. And now some of that fat that's underneath that is kind of poking through and causing some issues, and that kind of bulges out a little bit. And so I noticed it after my upper body workout. And over the past like 1 or 2 months before I actually visually noticed it, I'd been feeling this weird soreness in my abs when I was doing my high rep heavy deadlift sets. So this is something that I'd been working with a powerlifting coach, and we were doing some kind of pushing the deadlifts a little bit more as far as the intensity and the rep ranges the past like month or two. And I'd been feeling this weird soreness, and it had been a while since I've gotten really back into powerlifting seriously. I lost like 25-ish pounds since the last time I was seriously doing powerlifting. So in my head, I was like, hey, I'm not really used to deadlifting as often as I am now. Also, I'm not used to deadlifting as often as I am now with the weight I'm using with the lighter body weight that I have. So from my head, I was like, maybe, this is just my core getting reestablished and used to the heavier weight that I'm using that it wasn't used to before. Well, then I noticed I had this hernia. And so I'm thinking what had happened is maybe the hernia kind of started like a month or so ago, but the fat wasn't actually popping through until just that like Wednesday that I noticed it. And that's why I visually noticed it, whatever it may be. But yeah, so went to tell the doctor, they referred me to get an ultrasound to just confirm it. Got an ultrasound, confirmed that there's an inguinal hernia in there. It is just the fat. So some hernias actually have bowels that push through. So like basically the fat layer gets like, I don't know if it gets a hole in it or whatever it may be, gets basically the bowels pop through. And if the bowels pop through and they get stuck, it can cause some really bad issues there. And it can be kind of like an immediate surgery you need to get. But that's kind of where I'm at now. And I have a surgery consultation next week, actually, just to talk about, okay, getting this repaired, because it is like, I get pretty uncomfortable at the end of the day. It's not extreme. It's nothing like I'm in agonizing pain, but it's just this weird like cramping I have in my lower abdominal groin area. I haven't been deadlifting or squatting in 2 weeks since I like found this. I still have been trying to do some leg press, but I think I'm going to actually cut that out after this was just like pretty irritated actually today after leg pressing yesterday. So my upper body exercises, I've still been doing most of them, but doing a little bit more stable variations and trying to just not not push the weight as hard and trying to just like slow down my reps, make sure I'm constantly breathing between my reps versus holding my breath between each rep, because that can cause even more pressure in that area. So it's just been kind of a bummer because I was really like hitting my groove and my stride, I feel like, with my powerlifting in again for the past few months. And now I have like this injury, and now I'm probably going to have surgery to repair it because obviously I can't train like I'm supposed to or work out like I'm supposed to, and it could obviously cause some serious issues if it ends up getting worse, the bowel pops through and all that stuff happens. So it's been a bummer. And mentally, like last week I was just like really I don't know, just not in a great spot with it, just frustrated, like, because, like I said, I wasn't able to do my powerlifting workouts like I was supposed to. I can't even do my normal like pause bench press because when I'm in that pause position, like in order to stay stable, like I do need to be like holding my breath and doing the Valsalva maneuver, which is where you like hold your breath and really like brace down. So I had to cut that out, and now I'm doing more like just rep style work, but it just sucks. And so I'm going to have this consultation, potentially going to have surgery. I don't know when it's going to be. I want to do it as soon as I can, but at the same time, we have some things coming up. Like Isla, our daughter, her first birthday is the first week of August or after the first week of August. So I don't want to have the surgery right before then and not be able to like pick her up, because you have like restrictions of how much weight you can lift for the next couple of weeks and even like the 6 to 8 weeks after surgery. So like I don't want to have it right before then, probably, if it's going to impact me being able to just have fun at her birthday party and pick her up. And then also we are going to Disney at the end of September, and I don't want to have it too close to Disney to where it's going to impact walking at the parks, all day. And honestly, really, like as long as I have it like 4 weeks before, I'm not too concerned about the walking. But if like my son wants me to pick him up at Disney, or if my daughter does, or if we're going on some of the roller coastery rides, I'm worried about that, having the surgery so close. So I don't know. We'll see what happens at the consultation, how soon they want to, potentially do surgery, what that's going to look like, if I'm going to be able to do it, soon within the next couple of weeks, or if I'm going to have to wait until maybe, in October, which is going to really suck, right? I don't want to have the surgery too soon where it's going to impact those things, but I also don't want to like wait until October probably and have it potentially get worse. And then also just have my workouts and my training just be so messed up for so long, right? Because I'm probably not going to be able to work out close to normal until a month and a half to 2 months after surgery. So if I wait to have surgery until mid-October, and it's basically mid-July now, that's going to be 3 months till surgery, and then 2 more months until I'm actually feeling back to normal. So by the time I'm actually feeling like myself again, it might be 5 months potentially, which is going to suck. But at the same time, I don't want it to impact, the birthday party and Disney and other things going on. So I don't know. We'll see. But now that you guys understand the situation, I want to dive into some of the lessons that I'm reminded of, and then some lessons or some thoughts I've just been having within this process. So first lesson is just how important it is to make sure that you take care of your body when you can. Because while this is really frustrating for me that I'm not able to lift as heavy, like I'm probably lifting 75, maybe 65% of the actual weight that I was lifting before, just to, play it safe and because of discomfort and this and that. But like, it's so important to take care of your body when you can, because while I am in this position where, my workouts are suffering, I'm not able to train the way I was planning on it. And these goals that I had, I was even potentially maybe even going to, compete, in the beginning of September, which obviously isn't going to happen anymore. But I'm so grateful and thankful that up until this point, I've taken care of my body so well. Like, I'm strong. I have muscle mass. I'm in good shape. I'm in a good body weight. And because of all these things, I am able to still take care of myself now relatively until I have surgery. Like I'm still able to be active, still able to walk. And this hernia probably would have been a lot worse, if I wasn't doing those things. And then also too, after I have the surgery, at least I'm hoping, fingers crossed, my thought process is I will probably be able to like get back to where I was a lot quicker versus like if I, get my strength back versus if I wasn't consistently working out, to begin with. If I was somebody who was sedentary, was overweight, didn't exercise, wasn't in good shape, and I got this hernia from just like picking up a heavy box, out of nowhere, whatever it may be, or a lot of these hernias actually I was, looking at are just like genetic based too, that even like just slowly over time, even if you don't pull something the wrong way, like a lot of men, I think like 25% of men end up getting some kind of hernia in their life. which is pretty high, one fourth, one out of every four people that you can get them over time. So, like, if I was somebody who was sedentary, overweight, didn't exercise, didn't take care of myself, also, if I was somebody who didn't know how to eat to maintain my weight in different circumstances, right? I know how to maintain my weight if I'm really active, and I'm going to know how to maintain my weight while recovering from surgery where I'm not going to be able to work out as much or exercise as much or move around as much. But if I was in that other situation, this recovery process that's going to end up happening would probably end up being a lot worse. I probably would take much longer to gain that strength back. I probably would end up, gaining a bunch of body weight because I wouldn't have had the knowledge to know how to eat and adjust my calories or adjust my portion sizes, whatever it may be, to still stay at a healthy body weight, even though I'm going to be pretty sedentary, at least for the first couple of weeks after surgery. So I'm so thankful that I take the time or took or do take have taken the time to take care of my body up until this point, so recovery and all that will be even better. And then also you just kind of get this feeling of things like being stripped away from you a little bit. Like, if I'm not able to work out as often as I wanted to before, and I'm not able to lift as heavy a things as I wanted to before. I'm not able to right now hold my daughter or my son like as long as I really want to. Like carrying her in her car seat is pretty hard. Like it's pretty uncomfortable. Now I still can do it because I have those other supporting muscles, which I'm grateful for from just all the years of lifting. But those things are being kind of taken away from me out of my control, and it's just a good reminder of like how much we take that for granted, being able to move around, being able to lift certain things. And if you don't consistently train those muscles and train those exercises, train those movements to keep that, when something like this happens, it will really knock you down. Like I think about like my dad before he passed, and he had some health issues, within the year before he passed away, where he ended up having to, have surgery, be in the hospital, be, lay in a bed for a couple of weeks. And he lost so much strength in that time frame. And if I remember correctly, I don't even know if he was ever able to actually walk on his own again, like after that surgery, really. And if he was, it was very minimal and it slowly or very quickly, excuse me, that strength came down even more afterwards. So I'm grateful that I've taken care of myself up to this point. So this, surgery will probably not be as big of a deal recovery wise. It's going to suck in the moment, but like I likely will be able to get through it really well. But it also gives me a newfound appreciation of like being able to just like pick up my daughter, pick up my son without, the uncomfortableness or the pain, which I'm excited to get back to being able to do that, when this surgery is over with. And there was also one other point that I was going to make with all this, and for some reason, with my talking and rambling, I totally forgot what this other point was. And it was a really important point, and it was maybe even more important than the other point. So I'm really annoyed that I can't think of it right now. Jeez. You can tell I've been staring at my computer for way too long today that my brain is kind of fried. Let me take a second and see if I can remember what this is. Now I remember. So the second point or third point, whatever it is that I wanted to make that I think is even more important than this is, and it relates to how successful you are going to be within your fat loss journey, your fitness journey, your health journey, whatever it is. Like I obviously, talk to countless people who tell me that they want to lose weight, they want to get in better shape, they want to change their life, they want to be better for themselves, for their family. All the clients that I work with, those are part of, or if not all of, their goals that they have. And in order to do that, especially to do it long term, you have to be willing to take the actions necessary to get the result that comes from those actions, even if the result is not promised, even if progress is not promised. And if you can get to that point where you can do those things, even if you have no guarantee that progress is going to happen, or even if there's a guarantee that progress will not happen, but you will still do those things anyway because of how they make you feel, not the external result that they give you, you have unlocked a lifetime of great health, great progress, and you will eventually reach your goal long term, no matter what. So the point I'm making with this is, and an example of this is, even after this hernia, even after having like my powerlifting stripped away, not being able to squat and deadlift, probably not going to be able to, even do leg press, anymore. We'll kind of see how I'm feeling. But having that stripped away, I have still not missed like a scheduled workout since that. And this is, by the way, not medical advice. If you have a hernia, I'm not telling you to lift through it, but I have not missed a workout. I've still done some kind of workout. Like I said, I've been doing probably 65, 70% of the weight I normally lift. So, a decent amount lighter. I've kind of changed up my rep ranges a little bit so I can do a little bit lighter weight so I don't have to brace as hard and I can breathe throughout my reps versus, having that big brace belly, with my reps. And I've actually been doing, more running over the past couple weeks just to kind of like get my body moving more because I feel like I can't put as much effort into my lifting that I'm like, I just kind of need to get moving. But I'm doing all those things despite knowing I'm not going to make any strength progress really until probably I recover from the surgery. Like, let's say if I have surgery in 2 weeks from now, 3 weeks from now, like I'm going to continue lifting, even though I know I'm probably not going to make actual like strength gains or muscle gains in those 3 weeks. It's all going to be about just maintaining my strength where I'm at right now. And sure, like, if I feel good, I might maybe push for PRs, but probably not, to be honest, just because I don't want to make things worse. And if I end up having surgery in the middle of October, like these next 3 months are going to be about just maintaining as much muscle and strength as possible, not about actually gaining muscle and strength. Now, if I have to wait until October to have the surgery, maybe we'll see. There's a little bit of body fat I might want to lose, so I might go into a fat loss phase, up until then. But like over the past 2 weeks, I've had no kind of thought in my head of, okay, I can make progress, but anyway, I'm going to still show up and do the thing because these are the habits that keep me healthy, that keep me strong, that are going to make matters or that are going to put me in the best position possible to have the best outcome long term. I've had a lot of clients who have dealt with just random injuries here and there for like freak accidents. And the clients who always see the most amount of success are the ones who still check in. They still do what they can despite that little injury, whether it's just walking, whether it's maybe not working out at all, but just focusing on nutrition or whatever it may be. The clients who still show up and do the thing, even though like progress isn't really promised during that period. And, to some extent, like with me, progress is guaranteed to not actually happen in this time frame right now. Like I said, I'm not going to be getting actually stronger in this time frame, and I'm probably not going to build muscle. I'm probably not going to hit any PRs, up until after I have surgery, get fully recovered from surgery, and probably, a few months, if not even more after that. But I'm still going to show up and do the thing. And same thing when it goes to nutrition. Like I'm still going to show up and track my food, most of the time, hit my nutrition goals. That way I stay healthy. And that's the mentality you have to have. And when you like are willing to do the thing when there's no promise that you're going to actually get the like big external result from it, that's when you really win, because then that's just what you do. Like it becomes a part of who you are. Lifting, roughly 4 to 5 times a week, being active, watching my nutrition, tracking my food, staying healthy is as healthy as I can is a part of who I am. And that's not going to change whether or not I'm injured or I'm not. I'm perfectly healthy. Like I'm still going to do those things. And like I said, that will unlock. That's when your life really changes. When you can reflect back and you could say, hey, I know I'm not going to get stronger from these workouts. I know I'm not going to build muscle from these workouts. And I know like I'm not going to make much progress from these workouts right now because of my circumstances. But you know what? I'm still going to do it anyway because it's who I am and because of how it makes you feel on the inside. Like I feel so good mentally when I work out, even if I know progress is not going to happen. Like when I finish that workout or while I'm even in that workout, like it feels good to me. And when I am tracking my food and I'm hitting my nutrition targets at the end of the day and I'm eating mostly whole foods, balanced meals, fruits and vegetables, lean meats, I feel good. Whether or not I lose body fat or see some big body composition change or not, those are the things that make me feel good. And this is something that I talk with clients all the time about. Is like when you start to make food choices, not because of you're worried about the calorie content of the food, but instead you know you will feel better if you have Greek yogurt with some strawberries as a snack versus if you have a cupcake. You just know the Greek yogurt and the strawberries are going to make you feel more nourished, more energized. They're going to make you feel better. You're not going to feel as bloated. You're going to feel like moving around more. You're going to mentally feel sharper after eating that meal versus eating a cupcake. When you make decisions like that, that's when like, you've made it, right? You're there. Even if you're not even at your external result yet, that lifestyle is really getting ingrained in you. So just want to come and just kind of vent, share some thoughts, come on here, my own personal podcast diary, whatever it is, and just share where I'm at in my journey. So let me know, if you'd like to see more updates when it comes to, this and like when my surgery is and what that's going to look like. I'll try to document as much as possible as far as like how I'm approaching my workouts and my training. But like I said, right now I am doing mostly just like higher rep stuff. With when it comes to legs, I'm basically just probably going to just do leg extensions, leg curls if I can, and then calf raises. And that's probably I'm probably not going to do any like squatting and leg press. I was trying to do, but probably going to cut that out because it just wasn't really feeling great after yesterday. And then upper body, I'm trying to do more like stable things and trying to just constantly breathe throughout my reps, which is something that like normally you want to like brace a little bit, brace your core. That way you have more strength, but I kind of just have to try to avoid bracing that area as much as possible. So yeah, that was all. Hopefully this was helpful and eye opening. I appreciate you all, and I will see you guys in the next one.